Hi, my name is Catherine Gomes, and I am the author of Exploring with Creation with Mathematics Level 1. And I'm just going to give you a quick video overview of how to do the Unit 1 skills practice for this book. So this is all laid out in the teaching guide and explained in detail. I'm just showing it to you here on a video and maybe giving you a few extra tips. So the Unit 1 skills practice is explained to you on the daily schedule. It'll show you exactly which skill to do each day, and you want to be practicing about 5 to 10 minutes, depending on the skill and depending on how your child's doing. Now, how do you know what to do in practicing those skills? At the beginning of each unit in the teaching guide, I've written out a description for you, both of the skill, why it's important, but also different ways that you can practice. And most of those ideas are what I'm showing you right now in this video. There are 2 skills for Unit 1, writing the numerals 1 to 10 and putting the numbers 0 to 20 in order. Pretty simple skills, and keep in mind the skills practice isn't super involved for Unit 1 because you just started this book and you're getting used to things, and maybe it's the start of school year. So I didn't want it to be overwhelming. So if it feels a little bit quick, that was intentional. It might get a little more involved. It is going to get a little more involved in the other units. How do you practice writing the numerals? Well, we do have writing practice in the student book for a couple of the lessons, but if your child needs extra practice, we put extra writing worksheets on the Book Extras website. So if you log on to Book Extras, we have lots of printables and you can print as many copies as you want or need. In our house, this is included in our handwriting program, so I didn't do anything extra. I just checked it off because we're already practicing writing numbers like this in our handwriting program. The other skill is putting numbers in order from 0 to 20. Now 1 to 10 is probably going to be pretty simple for most kids, but those teen numbers can be tricky, and 11 and 12 are just plain weird. So you definitely want to practice it. I find that in counting from 1 to 100, those teen numbers are the hardest part. Here's our favorite way to practice. These are mini cups that I buy at the dollar store. I love them. They're so cheap and there's so many different things you can do with them. So I numbered them. If you number them this way, you can also have your child practice putting the correct amounts in the cup, okay? Or if you number it this way, it stands a little more steadily. So those are the different advantages. Mainly what I do is number a set of these from 0 to 20 and then say, okay, put it in order. That's the first step. Other options, if your child loves Legos, you can label the sides of Legos and have them actually stack them together. It's a little more satisfying because it like clicks in place. I also had a mom, I got this idea from another mom. She put stickers on the sides of her linking cubes, like dot stickers, and had her child stack them in a row, and then she just took the stickers off when they were done. So just pick what you think your kid would like the best. It can be kind of tricky to write on the side of Legos, so I liked the stickers for this. Keep in mind that you can vary it to make it a little harder. So at first, you want to have them do 0 to 20. Then make them start at different numbers, like can they start at 11 and go up? A lot of us remember how to count almost like a song, and we're not necessarily thinking what comes after 11, all right? And you can have them do it backwards, give them 20 and make them build back. Make sure they don't just start at 1 and build the other way, because if they're building backwards, they're getting ready for subtraction. Finally, a game we like to play at our house is I set up the cups from 0 to 20. I make my student look the other way and I steal one of the cups and close the gap. And they have to look and see, 12, 14, mommy stole 13. Okay, so then that's a fun way that we practice. One other fun way that you can practice ordering numbers is by making a picture puzzle for your child. So to do this, you need a picture of something they're interested in. In our house, that would mean a picture of them, popsicle sticks or craft sticks, and glue. And what you are going to do is you're going to create pieces like this that show part of the photo, and then at the bottom there'll be a number. If they put the numbers in the correct order, they'll make the picture. Okay, that's how it works. Now, I've actually goofed around with this a little bit, and there's definitely an easier way to do it. So the easiest thing to do is take your picture and use a popsicle stick to outline the length and then cut strips. Then go ahead and glue those strips onto the popsicle sticks. And when you have them in the right order, add the numbers. Now you can make this as easy or challenging as you want to. Some moms did skip counting. You could just do the teen numbers. You could do 1 through 10, whatever you want. You can also achieve the same thing with a code by using note cards, like a secret message, and put one letter of the message on each card and then number it. And if they put the numbers in the right order, it spells the message. So fun. I'm going to show you some different ways you can do the Unit 2 skills practice and Exploring Creation with Mathematics Level 1. All of this is laid out for you in the teaching guide. The skills are shown on the pacing guide in the front. And then there's a description of everything I'm going to show within the book. This is just the same thing in video format. So the Unit 2 skills practice is a lot of fun. You're going to be looking at a lot of addition facts. So it's all in like this section here, and then on the next page. So we're going to do the addition facts up to 10, but we're not going to just give our child a whole pile of facts and say, okay, learn all these. That's not how you learn most effectively, and that's not what leads to long-term retention. Instead, I've grouped them in fact families. And the first group is going to be the addition facts up to 5, like 2 plus 3, 2 plus 2, the really easy ones, and then we're going to build onto that. All right, after the addition facts up to 5, we're going to focus just on the facts that make 10 because they are so important. 6 plus 4, 7 plus 3, 5 plus 5. You got to know those, and the faster and more deeply you memorize those, the better. Finally, we'll do the facts that make 6, the facts that make 7, the facts that make 8, and the facts that make 9. Now, in the teaching guide, I've broken it apart, like different ways to practice each of those skills. But in this video, I'm just going to show you all the different ways because they really can kind of be interchanged with the different fact families. All right, the easiest way to practice is to use flashcards. So I grabbed these for like $2 and they're great, especially on a busy day when maybe skills practice wouldn't happen if you tried to do something more complicated. Just sort through, pull out the ones you want your child to practice. Don't give them the whole box, that's overwhelming. And have them practice super quick, okay? Now, there is a way to kind of make this a little more fun really quickly. Take some sheets of paper and write down answers on it, like 6, 10, 7. Lay these all over your living room and then give your child a stack of flashcards. And then what they do is they look at the flashcard and they have to run and lay it on the correct paper. We played this as a family. It was super fun. I was amazed by how excited they got, and they got some exercise. The other thing that's a nice outcome of it is at the end of the game, on the 6 paper, you'll have the facts, 5 plus 1, 6 plus 0, 4 plus 2, and they can see the fact family. So that was really cool. I liked that result came out of that. So that's flashcards. Another thing that you can do is revisit some of the games that they learned in their lessons. So when they first learned addition, a lot of the opening activities were fun games that you can play again. So for instance, this is addition strikeout. Let me try to hold it. It's a super simple game. You do a game board with the numbers 2 through 12 on each player's side. They roll dice, they add it together, and they cross out the sum on their side. The winner is the first person to get all the sums crossed out on their side. I almost nixed this game from the book because that's so simple, but I played it at a math day at my house. That's where this picture came from. And the kids were so excited and so into it. I'm like, okay, I'm putting it in. But if your child liked this game during this lesson, you can use it again to review addition facts. The same goes with Stack 'em. Stack 'em was just a few lessons later in the student book. And in Stack 'em, they use dominoes and they add up the sum of the dots and they have to put it in certain spaces. All right, so pretty similar. And if you don't have dominoes, we have those printable for you on the Book Extras website. So just think you can always do that, is revisit a game. I didn't put the same games in the student book over and over again because I didn't want it to be too repetitive. But if your child really likes a game, be sure to recycle it. All right. Another thing is the book extra site. The book extra site is an author's dream. Whenever I have extra ideas or things that some kids might need, but not every kid, we just put it up there for you. So it's there if you need it, but you can print what you want, okay? So we have lots of resources on there for the fact practice. Here's one example. We have these fact puzzles. And so you cut them out and the kids have to match which facts go with a 5, which facts have a sum of 6. We also have just like straight up worksheets. If you're a worksheet person or if your child likes worksheets, you can print some of these. Another one is a great game. This one is specifically for 10s, but you can change it. It's called Fishing for 10s. It's probably my favorite game. So you need Uno cards or numbered cards. I like Uno cards because we already own them, so no additional cost. And they have the number 0, so 2 bonuses. Fishing for 10s follows the rules of Go Fish. So you deal 7 cards to each player. And in your hand, to make a match, you're not going to do like a 3 and a 3. You're going to do something that makes 10. So I have a 7 and a 3. So I have a pair and I would lay that down. And then I'm seeing here I have a 4. So I would be asking like, does anyone have any 6s? Super fun. And you can give your child a reference sheet. I made one like this because one of my students was struggling to remember, and it's okay if they're looking at something like this as they play, or you can give something like this to a younger student and then they can still play because they know the pairs and they're already learning addition facts. Isn't that great? Another variation with these Uno cards is a game that I call Spill and Find. And it's code for mommy doesn't have a lot of time, but we need to practice. So what you do is you take a bunch of numbered cards and you, the mom, you spill them all over the table, or the homeschool parent, whoever's doing this, you spill it all over the table and you set a timer and you tell them, make as many 9s as you can or make as many 8s. You pick the number and they make as many pairs as they can during the time. What I love about it is because of the timer, it works really well if you're like, we really only have a few minutes. We got to get to history. We got to make that Viking longhouse. It's a crazy day today. So this is a great one if you're feeling a little pressed for time. All right, one last one I want to show you that's so simple and it's great. It's amazing to me that it works so well considering how simple it is. So in advance, you need to prepare a paper like this. Put whatever sum you want them to make in the middle, and then put the numbers like 0 to 7 on one side and scramble the order on the other. Takes you 1 minute, right? Just tell your child, okay, match the numbers on this side with what would make 7 on the other. And they just go quick, shh, 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 shh. But it's a great way for them to remember all the different ways to make 7. So those are my ideas for you. I hope you have a good Unit 2 skills practice. In this video, I want to show you some different ways you can do the Unit 3 skills practice. The skills practice are skills that you practice for 5 to 10 minutes with your child each day, in addition to the lessons, and it is all laid out in the pacing guide of the teaching guide. Now, for Unit 3, there are 3 different skills that you're going to practice, and those are also explained here, and all the activities that I'm going to mention are in this teaching guide as well. So the first skill is subtraction facts up to 10. All the subtraction facts within that category. And there are several different ways that you can practice, but the easiest thing is flashcards, all right? These guys are affordable, they're quick, they're easy, they're a great way of making sure it happens on a busy day. Now, one thing to keep in mind is you don't want to just give your child a whole stack like this. Notice that I said subtraction facts up to 10, so you do need to go through and pull out the facts that your child is ready for. We always want to give them a manageable amount of facts to learn. If we give them too much, it's overwhelming, and actually they can't really retain it because they don't have enough knowledge to like hook it on, if that makes sense. So you can always use something like this and sort it ahead of time. Also, you can make a game with flashcards to make it a little bit different or a little more interesting. Have them find facts that have the same difference, that type of thing. All right, now there are some games that I love to play, and one of our favorites for subtraction is Toppling Towers of 10. It's fun to say and it's even more fun to play. So it's pretty simple. You need a die and you need a tower of 10 for each player. So we use Lincoln cubes. You can use Legos. It doesn't really matter. Each player starts with 10. On their turn, they roll the die. Whatever they roll, they get to take that many off somebody else's tower. So if I roll a 6, I could take 6 off your tower. You have to make sure they say the subtraction fact when they do it. 10 minus 6 or 10 take away 6 is 4. That really helps make the math connection. Whichever player is the last one standing wins, and we normally play that the last subtraction has to be an exact amount to make it a little more interesting, but you can tweak those rules if you want. Also, you always want to remember that when they learned subtraction, there were games included in the lessons in this student book. And now that they're rehearsing subtraction or practicing it again, you can bring back those games. So there were several games that were in the student book. One is a board game. Let me just show you the board. It's this space one right here. And this one's actually really interesting because if you notice, it's the facts on the spaces, not the answers. So when they roll the die, they have to find the space that has that answer. So this really pushes them and makes them think deeply. All right, also we put lots of resources on the Book Extras site for you, and I just want to show you some of those. We do have worksheets that you can print out. They're just like well laid out, nice and spacious. I like how these are designed. If you want something more like a puzzle, these are fun. They cut out the facts, make sure you can see it, and then they stick it with the correct difference. So that one's cool too. All right, then after you've done subtraction facts up to 10, we're going to work on some addition facts. And again, we're going to group them. So the group we're going to do is doubles and doubles plus 1 or doubles minus 1. So doubles you're probably familiar with, like 6 plus 6, 7 plus 7. Those are fun and pretty quick for most kids to memorize. Doubles plus 1 and doubles minus 1 just means the facts that are one off, like 7 plus 8 or 9 plus 10. And the reason we pair them is if you know 7 plus 7, we teach the kids that to do 7 plus 8, they should think of 7 plus 7 and then add one more. So the grouping is really important. It's it's thought out in a way to help your kids always hook their new knowledge onto old knowledge. All right, flashcards. Again, all right, just get your set of flashcards. I paid $2 for these. We get our money's worth from these. You're gonna have to sort it through, pull out those doubles, pull out the ones that are doubles plus 1 or doubles minus 1. You could make your own, but I feel like it's a little easier to just buy them. You can play a game with the flashcards. One that I like is called Line It Up. You give them the facts that they're working on at that time, like a doubles like this, and they have to line them up in order of the sums. So this one's sum is 10, so now I need to find a fact that makes 11 and a fact that makes 9 and try to make a line. It makes you think through. Your kids start to find some connections by doing that you wouldn't expect. Again, they had games that they did during their lessons that you can pull out again. One of our favorites, we love Chutes and Ladders and also the Snakes and Ladders version. So I went with snakes, I hope you don't mind. And we did a Snakes and Ladders with doubles. You'll recognize this from the lessons, okay? Very similar to the game if you're familiar, except they have to answer the doubles fact when they land on the space. To practice the doubles plus or minus 1, we have the game doubles plus or minus 1. This one's super simple. You need a die that you can change the numbers to make the numbers higher. We have this really cool, I got this at the dollar store. I love this thing. It's dry erase. So I changed the numbers. I'm pretty sure the lowest one is 5, so we go up higher from there. And when you roll the die, all right, I got a 7. You double it in your mind, 14. And then you can either add 1 or take away 1 and cross out that space on your side. Whoever gets their whole side crossed out first wins. That's a fun way to practice. And man, like so little prep, right? I mean, it's like almost faster than pulling out the right flashcards. Okay, so those are your first 2 skills, the subtraction and then the doubles the doubles plus 1, the doubles minus 1. Now that they have those doubles, you'll notice that they pushed into teen number sums, all right? Like they're doing 9 plus 9 is 18. So they are now ready to start learning and memorizing those higher addition facts. So you have this big list here of all the addition facts up to 20, but keep in mind that they are hooking this on to prior knowledge, all right? It's not gonna be as hard for them to think of 7 plus 9 because they've already learned 8 plus 9. You see what I'm saying? All right, how are we going to practice that? Well, you probably guessed this one, right? The flashcards. If you're having, a busy day, you can do flashcards. Another fun game from the lessons is target number. This is super simple. You need 2 players and you take turns picking a target number and then you roll dice to try to get that number by adding, okay? You're gonna tweak it. The instructions are in the teaching guide to make sure you're working with higher numbers now because those are the facts you're trying to do. Finally, we do have worksheets on the Book Extras site for this practice. And I should show you, there's also for the doubles and the doubles plus 1 and the doubles minus 1, there are worksheets on there for that as well. So hopefully those suggestions get you off to a great start with the Unit 3 skills practice. Hi, I'm Catherine Gomes. I'm the author of Apologia Math, and this is an overview of the Unit 4 skills practice in the Level 1 book. The Unit 4 skills practice is pretty short and sweet, and if you look at the pacing guide, you will notice that Unit 4 is only a few weeks. It's the measurement and data unit, so I didn't put too many skills. I only put 1 skill in the skills practice. Another reason for that is you're going to be doing a lot of measuring, a lot of hands-on things in the lessons in this book, so I wanted to make sure that I didn't overload you. So that is why it's a little more concise than the other units. Okay, so what is the skill? The skill is all the subtraction facts up to 15. Here's your list, all those teen numbers, all right? Remember, we're building on skills. We already mastered the subtraction facts up to 10. There's several ways you can practice. Of course, I'm going to say you can do flashcards, especially if that day you're off measuring something for the lesson and you want to kind of go the easy way out with this. That's totally fine. Another version with flashcards is Flashcard Go Fish. This is pretty fun. So you deal the flashcards. If you were using a set like this, you probably want to decide in advance which side you're using. Otherwise, it could be really confusing. And pairs are going to be flashcards that have the same difference. So this would be a pair. Really makes you think. And even if your child is looking at the back to see the answer, mine has the answers in the top corner, they're still going to be reviewing those facts. So I like that one a lot. Another flashcard game, this is like my all-time favorite with multiplication facts, but you can do it with subtraction as well, is Flashcard War. So if you know how you play Standard War, in Flashcard War, you start with, each player has half the pile, and we flip ours over, and whoever has the greater difference wins those 2 cards, and you play until someone has won all the cards. The history of this game is I did it with multiplication facts at co-op because I had some time to kill, and I couldn't stop these kids from playing the game. They were so into it. So that one is a lot of fun. Kids get really excited about it, and it's really simple. You also can set a timer in Flashcard War and just say whoever has more when the timer goes up, because it can take a long time to win all the cards. So, okay. And last but not least, we've also provided worksheets for you. So keep in mind, you always want to check the Book Extras website and see what's on there. Just nice, clean, well laid out worksheets. My designer did a great job. If you need something that you can just print and take it to go. That is the Unit 4 skills practice. Talk to you about the Unit 5 skills practice in the Level 1 book. So this is your last skills practice of the year, and you should know that the overarching goal was for us to master addition and subtraction facts within 20, and we are on the last piece of that, all right? Your child has learned so much. So the last skill that we need to practice are the rest of our subtraction facts. There's a list here in the teaching guide. These are those last ones taking us up to 20, like 17 take away 10, 17 take away 4. You need to know these because of regrouping. So it's really laying a foundation for your child when they are going to be subtracting larger numbers in the future. Well, the primary way we're going to practice this is with flashcards. So you can do your standard just flip through of flashcards. That's always a quick and easy method. You can also turn it into a bit of a game. So 10 in a row is a fun one. I'm going to show you the picture in the teaching guide. So this is 10 in a row right here. So your child takes the flashcards and they try to get 10 flashcards in a row based on their difference. So the first flashcard has a difference of 0, the next one 1, and it's fun because there's multiple ways to do it, so they can kind of think creatively. That'd be a great one to have a couple kids work on together. I think that would be fun. Another way that you can make the flashcards a little more interesting, I've done this with smaller facts as well, is a game where you take paper and you write the answers on it. And then you have your child like run around the living room and actually lay the facts on the answer, all right? So it just gets them up and moving and that type of thing. The last thing is probably my favorite, and that is grouping related facts, okay? So an example of related fact is right here in the teaching guide to show you 15 take away 6 and 6 plus 9. The reason I like this is now we're in the last skills practice. They've done addition, they've done subtraction. Making these pairs helps them make that connection. And so the little bit of a challenge on you is you do have to pre-sort. It works a lot better if you either write out related facts and then mix them together, or actually pull them out of these stacks so that you maybe have 10 addition facts and 10 subtraction facts that do relate, and then they just have to match them. All right, that is your Unit 5 skills practice for Level 1.